Hello, everyone. This is Amai. Just before the rant starts, I just want to say I tackle stuff that might bring up some very painful memories, such as, not feeling loved enough or not, having friends or bullying a little bit along those lines. So if you feel like that might get you to crash out or something, maybe save the video for some other day. But if you don't want to listen to it at all, no worries. I appreciate that. I think that's all I would need to warn about. But just generally, in case I have forgotten, there is there basically are topics that might trigger some uneasy feelings. So, if that sounds like something that you don't want to be a part of, click off. Anyways, if you're okay with that, thank you for listening, and I'll see you towards the end, I guess, or I don't know. Bye bye. Hello, everyone. This is Amai. If you're here for the BFE content, this is not one of them. Unless you want to treat this as your BF ranting, then enjoy. But what I wanted to talk about in this rant is confidence. I've made a video on me fumbling talking to women, and I've recently also made a video, or I haven't. Well, I'm recording it like at the same day. I just finished recording the other one, but it's a video on me being terrible at rizzing, basically. Um, trying to woo a person of interest. But this video, I want to focus more on confidence because it's something I feel like I've really lost. Right? I don't know about you guys, but there are definitely moments in my day or throughout my days where I do have like a burst of confidence where it's like I suddenly get this ego, right? Like, maybe after I finished recording something, after I finished playing a game and I did really good, I beat the enemy and I'm like, I'm just so good at this game. I queue up a rivals game, I get them Winter Soldiers again. And I'm like, holy, I'm 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 so good. But there are also moments, like Jesus Christ. There are also, my God, there are also moments in my day where I'm just sitting there, like staring at my monitors or looking up at the ceiling, and I'm like, what's gone so wrong? And it is a little difficult to talk about it because it is something that I've struggled a lot with in the past few years. It's just hard. It's really hard. Like confidence. Like what is it? How do I get it back? I've lost it for so long, and it feels like it's just not coming back at all whatsoever. And it's never been worse, right? Growing up as a kid, I didn't really have too much confidence. I was naturally a shy person, so I didn't have that many opportunities to get a lot of praise. I am academically um gifted, I guess, in a way. I was always like a good performer in academics and stuff. I had good results. I did good, and I would get praise in that aspect. But a lot of other things, it's like there's not much of it. And growing up, going through puberty, God, don't. I'm sure many of you have already gone through it. Jesus, I'm not even gonna bring it up for the safety of all of us here. For everybody that's listening, we all know how much of a pain it is. I don't need to get into like its nitty gritty. I mean, I will get into a little bit of it, but generally speaking, it all did a pretty, big damage on us. And unless you're just lucky, you're genetically gifted. If you're one of those if you're one of those people that got like an insane glow up after your I said period, your after puberty, then fuck you, you lucky bastard. But I'm kidding. But I would like to just talk about it because it is something that I feel like is difficult to control. It's very easy to say, like, be confident. Like, you don't have to be afraid of what people think. You don't have to be afraid of what people say. But it's really easier said than done. In a world where you can't really live on your own, where you're so dependent on people, and also as human beings, being creatures that kind of really need like company and stuff. Like it's hard not to want, you know, um people around you to see you in a good light, right? And when you're unlucky, you stumble on people who not only don't get to see good parts of you and appreciate those good uh, parts of you, but you also get people who see the worst parts of you and bring it up in a very mean-spirited way. A little bit of constructive criticism isn't ever gonna hurt anyone. It's good. You learn from it, you grow from it, and it's the same thing I believe with like competitions and rivalry, right? You do bad, you lose, happens. But it's through that you learn how to improve and get better. But what if it's like you go again, again, again? You just keep going at something and it's just you just keep getting smoked. You just keep losing. Where do you find that confidence to go again? Right? And that's just something I feel is very difficult. I play the guitar. I've done covers on the channel, and it's something that I do occasionally. I like singing. I like being able to sing, to play music, to make music. But I'm not good at it. See, that's the problem. There are a lot of things I like doing, like art, singing. That's really about it. But I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. And you could say, "Oh, you just practice." Practice makes perfect. But even with practice, sometimes there are limits you can reach. And there's also limits of how much you can practice a day, right? It's not like I can go from my terrible performances right now to, I'm trying to name like a really, like Bruno Mars coming in with fucking Die With A Smile with a Lady Gaga. I don't care if that song's like overrated. I like it. It sounds good to me. Big fan. I cannot attain that level of quality. And maybe it's me, but when I'm not able to achieve a level that I'm satisfied with, it feels terrible. And it feels even worse when I feel like there are people that don't appreciate like the level of work that I'm able to do, even if it's not the best. I understand that, if you're doing something or you're watching someone do something and they're not really good at it, I mean, obviously you wouldn't exactly find that to be like a spectacular show, right? If you were to compare two people performing and stuff. And I know comparison is like the destroyer of confidence, but it's something that I can't help but do. It's kind of like rooted in that like Asian genes where you got them like, like the Asian trait of compare. I mean, I know it happens to more than Asians. It's a joke. But it's like when parents go, "Ah, yeah, the neighbor Ming, he is so good." And I mean, I haven't really, I don't. My parents aren't really like that, but there are other parents of my classmates that are, and I have to hear that. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I have to be better because if I'm not better, then who's gonna care about me? It's really easy to say like, "Oh, you've done your best, that's good enough." But like at the end of the day, a lot of the time, if you are not spectacular, no one's really going to care about you. People will remember who won and who lost. People in between, depends. It depends. At least that's how it's been for me. Experience wise, it's like if I'm just mediocre, then who's going to care? Who's going to lift me up? Who's going to celebrate with me? And and like for me, like my parents cheer me on, but it's like, to a certain extent, it's like my parents are saying that, right? They've been saying that forever. Like, do they provide a more and it's all subjective, but do they provide a more objective perspective on my results? Right? Are they just blindly cheering me on, telling me I did good? It's okay even if you lost because I'm their kid? Because I don't really get that from anybody else. So like, am I actually doing good? Am I actually getting anything from it, or is it just my parents being proud that I did something? You know what I mean? And so like it's very confusing because I'm often told like, oh, if you do your best, like, that's people are gonna be proud of you. But it's like, people who, people who's proud of me for doing this, who's proud of me for doing that, who's proud of me for trying. And the answer for a lot of times in my life is not a lot, and it's a little painful to think about, but I feel like that probably applies to a lot of people. And if this is at all, bringing up bad memories, I'm sorry, but it's just something I wanted to talk about and see what you guys think about it. Because again, a lot of the time when people provide like words of comfort, it's really like, okay, you say that, but like how on earth do I believe it, right? When you say stuff like, it's okay, there's, you did fine, there's always next time, or, you don't have to worry about what other people are doing. Just focus on yourself and things will be all right. But how do you know that, right? How do you know that I'll be all right just by being okay? Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it only makes things more confusing to me because it's like, I thought I did good. I thought I tried. I put effort into it. Like, I thought I cooked, but I wasn't enough. I didn't do, I guess, good enough for real recognition where it's not just pity, like, oh, nice, good try. We appreciate that. It's like, like, it doesn't feel too good. I want to do good. I want to be the one that people can rally behind without it being like, oh, he tries hard, so we'll cheer him on anyway. If he loses, it's fine. He did his best. Like, I don't want that. That feels like shit, But the problem is, I don't win. I just don't win. I don't win at shit. Okay, and even when I do win, it's like, I don't really contribute much to it. It's like a team effort thing. I got carried. Okay, I got fucking carried. It doesn't feel good. I'm sitting there like, okay, so what? Okay, so what's the problem? And it's something I've been asking myself, like, again and again and again, constantly, because I just cannot find an answer that I can justify to myself. And maybe I'm insane, but a lot of the time, what I tell people is I need numbers. I need statistics. I need to be able to statistically, and some of you could probably hit me with a nerd emoji, but like, statistics most of the time don't lie. Like, there are, results that are not expected, but usually there's a specific portion of like a graph or something that shows you an average result, right? So it's like, I'm counting my life experience. I'm thinking, okay, back then I did this, back then I did this, last week I did this, 2 months ago I did this, a few years ago I did this. How many times out of all those times have I ever done anything great, where I haven't just embarrassed myself or made a fool of myself or only received any sort of attention because I failed? Like, I just got some pity from some people. Like, I would run the numbers in my head and be like, oh, these odds do not look very good. They're about as good as like trying to roll in a gacha game where you're trying to roll for that character you like and it's like 0.1 or some shit. It's like almost as bad as that. And I'm sitting there like, okay, so what do I do about it? Right? And this kind of ties into like relationships as well. Like, I've had friendships that don't really work out, and I've had friendships where the people aren't really as good as I thought they would be. And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I didn't try hard enough to keep a connection. Maybe I didn't try hard enough to make connections. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of maybes, and I can't answer them because I just don't know. I don't know. And it's very troublesome and difficult to think about. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I've done this before. I've been here before. What can I do to make this like the outcome different? You know? And it's easy to say like, oh, it's like not a you problem. Maybe those people, they're just not like the right ones. Like, okay, thank you, I appreciate the cope, but there are people who can get through life just fine and have the people that they need and want around them when they need it. And it's like, so what part of life am I doing wrong? And it's been hitting really hard because in the past few years, ever since I guess pandemic and moving to Canada, I've not really made any friends. I've made a few. I'm only really close with one, and everyone else I don't really talk to as much anymore because we just drift apart. Um, and it's like, I don't know. It's just now I'm not really as confident as I once was to make friends and talk to people. I I just get really anxious. It's really difficult for me to engage in conversations with people, and it sucks because I'd go on campus and I'd see a lot of people with their friends, with their significant others, having a good time. And even when they're not having a good time, they're there for each other when they're not having a good time. They have any like this is something I've talked about before in stream, but I was doing an exam, and before the exam, like you wait outside the hall. There were friend groups and couples that were like comforting each other, like giving each other like a pat on the ass, like, "Oh, we got this. We revised. Like you'll be okay. And even if things don't go all right, I'm still here for you." And I'm standing there alone, scrolling on my phone, camping Discord because I'm terminally online even when I'm outside, talking to my Discord server, and I'm like, "Guys, it's Gojo over. I'm gonna have to use the Hakari special technique, pull out the idle death gambling, GG." And it's like, God, why? Like, bro, these days I just want to be able to get through life, and I don't even care about having bad days. Right? It happens. A bad day happens. We all have bad days. It's fine, but I want to be able to have like people around me. That's like not my family, because I feel like with my family it's like they are nice to the point where it's like I feel like they're just coping for me. They're overdosing on copium for me. So it's like, come on, can I just like cry into some fucking honkers already? Jesus Christ. I'm joking. I'm not joking actually, but like you get what I mean. Like metaphorically speaking, okay? You get what I mean, right? It's like, it's like basically exactly how I found like the whole RP stuff in the first place, because it's like, damn, I have nobody to sort of give me this confidence at all. And I understand that a lot might say like confidence starts from you. And to that I say, get out of here with your shonen shit. Okay, shut the fuck up. I love some good old shonen as much as anybody else, okay? But that is some nonsense. I hate that because it's such a non-answer of an answer. Um but yeah, I don't know. It's just I've been feeling a lot lonelier in the past few years, especially after starting uni. It's been awful, bro. I can't. I'm not gonna show the DMs, but I've tried to reach out to people that I feel like we could be friends, like on like my school. And oh boy, it is just like the season of which I'm posting this video. It is like a winter, cold and dry. It is. It is very painful, and I feel like that only lowers my confidence even more, because it's like I'm not good with people in the first place. The fact that I'm even trying to reach out to people and try to make conversations nowadays is something incredible. It's something that like I it is difficult for me to do. And I understand it might seem pathetic because communicating is kind of like what we do, and for me to not be able to do it, it's like, the fuck are you doing? Right? So I get that, but like I have tried talking to people, but I'm an overthinker. Um, there was someone I wanted to talk to um quite a while ago, but like I would look at them every class only for me to not say anything, because I'm just running. It's like Doctor Strange. If you guys have seen Infinity War, where he does that thing where he sits like he floats in the air and he like sees all like the different realities, like, and then he's like, oh, there's one where we can win. It's like that for me. I'm sitting there like, okay, or like Inside Out 2, if you guys have seen it. It's a great movie, by the way. I think it's so personally painful. I wanted to just walk out of the cinema because I was hurting so much on the inside. My kokoro was itai, you know what I'm saying? So I would have these um like like I don't know, simulations run in my head, and it just doesn't go well every time because I just cannot imagine a reality where it works out for me, because statistically there's no real evidence of me being able to really make a friend in the past few years. Like I've lost the points, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm playing, it's like I'm playing new game plus in a game without all of the base game content. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like Persona 5 from the beginning all over again, where your confidence stat is at 1, or is that courage? Yeah, your courage stat is at 1, and your charm stat is at 1. All the stats are at like 1, and yeah, it's been very difficult. And honestly speaking, I stream, just in case you guys don't know. I stream here and on Twitch. I play games on my own, and I play games with other content creators, other VTubers and whatnot. And I honestly have such a good time. It is like the highlights of my day, really, because it helps takes my mind off things. It's like I queue up rivals with the friends, and it's like, we might lose, but we're all having a good time at the end of the day, right? I queue up my support one trick, Luna Snow, Cloak Dagger, Invisible Woman, Rocket Raccoon, Mantis, and Adam Warlock, and I'm just having a good time, right? I'm killing my team, I'm keeping them alive. It's like I get immersed in the game, so it's like I'm doing okay. But it's gone pretty miserable to the point where when I play solo games, like the sadness, it really starts like creeping up my chair and grabbing me by the you know and it sucks. It really does. And honestly speaking, I feel like whatever comments you guys leave down below, it's not like, as it might sound rude or mean, but I feel like it isn't gonna help that much. But I will say, part of my confidence that I was able to get to even try to talk to people, I would say, is thanks to you guys, being there to watch my content. And I know it might not seem like a lot, but my voice was something I've had an issue with in the past because I got made fun. I don't know if they were making fun of my voice or my content, but I used to do content in the past, and I've had people tease it, mock it in a way that's, I feel like, not that jokingly. But I might be wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking again. But yeah, it's been pretty difficult for me to regain like confidence at all. It feels like I've lost all of it. Like it's like when you play like Mario or Sonic, you get blasted and you just drop all your coins. Like fucking Mario Kart, where you get hit by a shell and you lose all your coins. It feels like ass. It's not very good. But yeah, I do appreciate the little bit of confidence I get from doing content, and the friendships I've made along the way by being a content creator. But yeah, confidence. It's such a very hard thing to get once it's gone, And I mean, I feel like it's still somewhere deep inside of me. I still have a little bit of it, just a little bit, just a little bit. It's like when you try to pour sauce, and there's like that little bit of sauce at the bottom, but it's kind of like attached to like your container somehow. Like if you've ever had like a Tabasco bottle and you try to pour it out, there's always a little bit that's like that just won't come out. That's like attached to like the bottle, and you're like, bro, this one drop, like I could use this one drop. Why is it not coming out? I don't know if that analogy made any sense at all. I just made that up out of nowhere because I couldn't think of a better one, but that's just how it is, I think on the spot, and I think that's a bad thing and a good thing. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a lot more ranting type of content recently because, bro, I have no one to talk to. a lot of the time. And sometimes I just have to, I guess, like stew in my own thoughts in my head. The silence, the silence really, it gets the brain thinking. And yeah, I am going to try to get like some sort of like counseling, like therapy, just to see like what's going on and like if I'm okay. Because there's a lot of times in my life where I like to tell myself that I'm fine just so I can avoid any sort of like issue that I might have with the people around me. Like, I don't want to make a huge scene. Okay, there's a lot there's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives already. The last thing they need is for me to make a huge scene out of something that might not even be real. And that's probably the most traditional parent take of all time, especially if you hail from like a traditional Asian family. Mental health is a myth over there. Again, I am joking. Obviously, mental health problems affect everybody, but just a little joke I like to throw out there once in a while with like the Asian bloodline. But thankfully, I would like to say my generation, maybe like a little bit older too, um, and the younger ones too. Like we understand it a lot more, and we talk about it a lot more. It's a lot less taboo to speak about it, which is great. So if I ever become a parent, which I mean, first I'd have to find the special her first, but I would probably um try my best to help my non-existent children go through that, because a pretty big issue is speaking up about it. It's not easy, especially when you feel like you have to be that perfect person, right? But yeah, I'm probably gonna. I basically did this audio in one take. I think like this rant, I did this in one take. But I'm gonna add a little like disclaimer in the beginning that goes over what I might talk about, just in case some people might like feel like terrible from the stuff I say, just as like a little warning. I should have probably done that first. I didn't think I'd go that deep into it, but that's just kind of how my thoughts go. You know what I mean? It only gets more confusing and nonsensical, and yeah. So I don't know if I said this already. I might have said this already, but if you've made it to the end here, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for listening to my rant. Feel free to leave some thoughts below. Again, don't really know how much it will help me, but I still appreciate the engagement and stuff. Some feedback or response from you guys. Always appreciate that. Honestly, like comment on the audios. It helps my channel. Honestly, yeah. So appreciate it. And just something I want to talk about. You guys don't have to get too concerned for me. I don't want you guys to get too concerned for me. At the end of the day, I'm a content creator and you're a viewer. You don't have to worry about someone that's on the internet that much. Okay, like I appreciate the concern, but again, we're all going through our own shit nowadays. Take care of yourself first and foremost, of course. Make sure you're doing okay. And then if you have spare time and stuff, you can write me a paragraph on how to feel better that I may or may not read. I'm just kidding. I read all comments, by the way. Okay, I read all comments, by the way. It's just some I don't really reply to. If you made a funny joke, I'll probably reply to it. Or if you've made some statement that I feel like I can make a snarky remark at, I will reply to it. But I do read all comments. Like, I just want to make that clear. I know some of the dumb stuff you guys say. I do see them. Okay, I do see them. And if it's funny enough and interesting enough for me to reply, I like to drop a reply. But yeah, I do read the comments. Okay, so feel free to leave one. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.